Our state has some incredible problems. My name is Lynn Hinderaker. I'm here to talk about that with you and talk about the trends that have shaped this state and dragged us in one direction or another. We're not really we're not realizing the dream we had way back in the early 2000s or even around 2008 or 9 or 10. My name is Lynn Hinderaker. Welcome to WowBiz Nebraska. We're going to get it on right now. In 1989, an earthquake in the month of October occurred, and it disrupted everything. As you can imagine, it was chaotic. The World Series was playing, by the way. And I was in the middle, and my wife as well was in the middle of that earthquake, 7.2. And something very interesting happened. And if you are a salesperson, you cannot miss this story. If you're an entrepreneur, even an operations person, you've got to think about what I'm going to share with you right now. So there I was with an office in downtown San Francisco. Things were shaken suddenly. I'd never been part of anything like that. I rushed out of my office, ran hurriedly as I'm running to our apartment building, which was about 25 stories tall. I saw people jumping off the bridge. Embarcadero Freeway is collapsing on people in their cars right out in the ocean. It was an incredible moment. Everybody suffered in one way or another, psychologically, if not physically. Well, anyway, so I got to the 25-story apartment where we lived. We lived on the 16th floor. Looked around, took a little while, found my wife, thank goodness. And we were visiting a little bit about what was going on and what happened to her as everything unfolded. And here's the story she shared with me. And again, if you're a salesperson, you must listen carefully. She obviously ran out the hall and ran down to the elevator. Of course, it wasn't going to work. The whole building had lost all of its electricity. So she went to the stairwell, the exit sign, of course, and opened the door, and it was extremely dark, completely dark. There was no light whatsoever in this stairwell because of the earthquake. So she tried to find the bar, the handlebar there with the steps, and she began very slowly, gingerly trying to walk down the steps in the stairwell. She kept going. She was very deliberate. She was scared, of course, but things were going okay. She went like a level or two, and she began hearing a young female voice screaming, and a baby's voice screaming equally. It's a real scary thing. She kept on going. She didn't know where they were. She just kept on proceeding down one step after another, down a couple floors, and the screaming became louder. And finally, she realized that she was just a matter of feet away from this young woman, mother. And this girl was obviously frightened to death. She was in the corner of the stairwell, holding on, afraid she was going to die any minute. And of course, again, the baby was screaming as well. My wife reached out to her and said, just hang on to me. Come on over here. Put your hand on my shoulder. We're going to make it together. We're going to go down this stairwell together. Just hang on to me. We'll be okay. And so they went 14 floors down together. Not sure what the next step was. Not sure where to turn to go down the other way and so on. They just kept going gingerly and steadily and listening, of course, to the baby. Well, they got all the way down. It was pretty tough deal. They got all the way down to the very base level. Still totally dark, no lights anywhere. Kind of felt their way forward. They're trying to find a door. They finally got to the door. And my wife pushed down on the handle, of course, of the door, opened it up, and it was an unbelievably brilliant, bright sun that shone into their eyes. See, that just hit them as they walked out of this incredible situation. And of course, there's hundreds of people kind of standing around trying to figure out what they were going to do. So they walked out, and there was a massive relief, of course, and the young woman grabbed her and hugged my wife tightly and said, thank you, thank you, thank you, and then vanished off into the crowd. And it was quite a situation. Now, I see that personally as a metaphor for what selling is all about today. And that is taking the hand of the prospect, again, metaphorically, and guiding through information sharing and introducing them around and making sure they know who you are and what you've done and past clients and the process, how we do it and how we get forward and all that. And really is very, very similar to the hundreds of steps they had to take to get all the way out the bottom of that building. Well, I want you to just think about this now. A lot of salespeople will say, hey, I'm in there, I'm made my pitch, they liked it, I asked for the order, it didn't go on, I'm out of here. That's kind of how it goes down these days. Time is slipping away and we've got to make our numbers and so on. But the ability to coach and edge and reassure the prospect that we are going down the stairwell together and it's going to work out and there is sun, brilliant sun, burning sun at the bottom. That's right. Isn't that exciting? It really is. I'm Lynn Hinderaker, and thank you so much for watching our show today here at WowBiz Nebraska. We've been doing this for a very long time, and many people are learning a lot about not just their business and what's possible, but also about themselves as leaders and employees and so on. So very happy to have you here. And by the way, we're going to kind of change the method or the rhythm right now, if you don't mind. And we're going to talk about something else. And oh, by the way, excuse me, I'm going to share one more thing with you. And by the way, I never read poetry in our business show, but I think I've got the attitude that, again, if you're taking the prospect down certain steps and so on, and this is an incredible poem, very short, and it'll tell you how we should feel, and really how we should think. Because so often we think about salespeople as, they're pushing this way and there's gimmicks and I don't know and I'll see. And there's all kinds of interesting psychological games going on. Ego, of course. But right now, as you've listened to my story, now you're going to listen to a poem that reinforces the key point I've tried to make. Here it goes. You are the bread and the knife. This is a salesperson talking to theoretical, metaphorical sales prospect. You are the bread and the knife, the crystal goblet and the wine. You are the dew on the morning grace and the burning wheel of the sun. You are the white apron of the baker and the marsh birds suddenly in flight. It was just too beautiful for me to not read because it really does express enormous empathy for our prospects, many of whom just don't know what to think about us. They don't know if they can trust us or not. And so we need to let them know how deeply and profoundly we honor and respect them. All right, now we're going to take a big leap in another direction. As I take a look at all of this stuff here in front of me, I'm going to make an outrageous claim, an outrageous comment, which is your business is dog food. I can't believe I'm saying that, but you're going to understand why I say that. And by the way, here's a more important statistic. Only 21% of all business owners in Nebraska are confident that they know how to grow their business. Think about that. That's a very low number. Only 21% are confident that they can, increase sales beyond where they're at right now. 67%, similar number, that's very complimentary, 67% say they're not so sure they're on the right path. They're not absolutely committed to the strategy that they currently have, and they're just not quite sure. So I'm going to talk to you right now about the key strategy that those people, and there's many of them, as you know, here in the state of Nebraska, and how they can get out of this rut, this mental anxiety about how to go forward. Now, I've got something right here, and again, I'm into metaphors and symbols and so on. So first of all, I'm going to take some of this bologna. I'm going to got all this dog food. Some of it's wet, some of it's dry. We're even going to put some water on it here in a minute. And but what's interesting, we'll use all of them. We'll say, first of all, right off the bat, we'll say that dog food, the hard dog food, the dry dog food, right here, this symbolizes the product. Whatever your product is, it's tangible here. So we're going to put this right in here. And that symbolizes the product, your product. All right. Then we're going to go here. I'm going to take this bologna. I'm going to cut it up real quick. Now this bologna symbolizes pricing, believe it or not. That's a stretch, I know, but it really will work. Symbolizes pricing. So some of these, as you know, little chunks of bologna here, some of them are quite small, some are larger, and that really is how pricing is. If you're running a company, you'll give a discount to this guy, but not to that guy. Buy a little bit more, promise next week, we'll give you a little bit of a discount here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so all of this bologna is a symbol. This little meat here is a symbol of a multifaceted pricing arrangement, okay? I'm sure you can see what I'm talking about here. And again, this is kind of a crazy symbol, but we're mixing now. We've got the product here in this pan, and we've got pricing. Well, you know, if you're in business, those are the two first things you're going to probably think about in order to make a profit. Now we're going to go one more step, because that's not the end of the ball game. And we're going to add service, all right? Obviously product and pricing. Well, now we got service. Now service is a little bit different, and I'm going to squish it around, push it around, and this will again symbolize service. You know, when you work with a customer service person or somebody out in the bay and they're working on your car, whatever they're doing, you know, they kind of try to standardize things, of course, but you know as well as I do that some people get more service than others. Just depends on who's at the front desk and what the flow of business is and so on and so forth. So now we've got product, we've got pricing, right? And we've got service. We've got all of those in our pan here. And but now we're not done yet. We're not done yet. And by the way, I'm going to scrunch this around here a little bit and push it down. I do this for my dogs frequently. All right, so now we have these three interesting ingredients that all represent your business, believe it or not. So now we've got water here, don't we? The water represents kind of the key factor for success for a lot of companies right now that are not hip to it. And we'll come back to this right after our break here for a second. But I'm going to put this water right in here with this dog food mesh. And the water symbolizes fluidity, and fluidity insofar as data, you know, and how people are handling it, and in particular, personalization. So when you get all this stuff together, then you kind of mix it together, as I've just tried to do here, and all that stuff, data. Now listen, somebody goes, sir, you know, you really want to buy this product. It's really outstanding, and you know, it is personalized. It fits your vehicle perfectly, and it's an outstanding value for you because it's just perfect for you. The data says you're 3.5% more efficient than our competitors down the street, and this area right here in your business is going to boost 12 to 15% because of how we put this all together for you. And we've got customer service hooked up for a special arrangement with them, and so it's really going to be an incredible equation for you when we get this all wrapped up, sir. Thank you for being a customer, see? So it's the water that allows all these elements to come together and some kind of an equation, a value equation, be formed for a customer. We'll get back to that in just a minute. My name is Lynn Hinderaker. This is WowBiz Nebraska. And believe it or not, we are excited to have you here. We have so much to talk about. And I want to visit with you right now about something called charisma coaching. Now, when I'm out there visiting with people, salespeople, sometimes real estate people and so on, many of them are very self-conscious about their personality. Somebody says, well, I'm real extroverted and I talk over people. It's a very bad thing. I shouldn't do that. And the person says, well, I'm very introverted and I don't even like walking into a room because then I have to talk and I don't know what to say and I stand in the corner and so on and so forth, you know. And so we developed a program called Charisma Coaching. We begin with K, K-A-R-I-S-M-A. And it's a very unusual thing. First of all, we talk about, we get into the psychology really of who you are. We have to get a handle on that. Then the next thing is, who do you aspire to be? This is extremely important. So that's about 2 months worth of discussions and understandings, and of course, always low key and everything. But then the next thing is personal branding. a lot of people, and you can see I'm dressed in dark, and some people will jokingly refer to me as the Godfather because I wear a lot of black, but that's okay because they like it. It's a positive thing, and then also they kind of remember me, right? So we have to have some outfit, whether it's our outfit, whether it's how we talk, whether it's our haircut, whatever it is, the people we know, all of that comprises a personal brand. All right. Now, once you get that personal brand together, and of course, we will help you do that from your wardrobe, your car, your attitude, your phrases, everything about your life, we will help you package and optimize. But then the next thing is public speaking. Now, there's nothing more impactful, believe me, than getting in front of a group. I don't care if it's a small or a large group, and expressing, maybe even extemporaneously, but expressing something to these people about yourself or the future or some trend or how your company does something unusual, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But people will go, this guy or this gal knows what they're talking about. This is really great. Let's do business with them. Let's talk to them about that, see? So there's a kind of a 5-month stage where you evolve, you grow, you practice. I teach you how to speak in public and how to package yourself, obviously, as I mentioned before. So charisma coaching, exciting, goes really well. People feel like they are on top of the world, and they can walk into a room. Now listen to me as we wrap up. They can walk into a room and they can get noticed. They can dominate the room. They can be happy with themselves, happy with the people they're chatting with. They can really become catalytic. And another word I love is kinetic, movement, right? Movement. And that's what people are looking for in this economy. They want to be able to move from one thing to another and do so in a relaxed, fluid, internal way. That's right. Charisma coaching, let us know right here if there's anything we can do for you along these lines. Everybody needs a little bit of charisma coaching, let me tell you. All right. Thank you. All right. Here we are in WowBiz, Nebraska. I'm Lynn Hinderaker, and this is a gas. I got to tell you, just to wrap up here, we got dog food here. We got dog food that's a metaphor for how you, your business model, essentially. We're talking about product, we're talking about service, we're talking about pricing, and then, of course, in the end, we're talking about how it all kind of comes together in some kind of a personalized equation for customers, and it is terrific. And so that's how it works. And let me tell you, your business has a ways to go. You know, I'm going to give you 2 words. I talk to companies all the time, business owners, and you know, if they can be open a little bit, they will tell me that they are unhappy. We're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything special. People don't respect us. We're just cranking away the way the old man did 12 years ago. This is what I hear every day, every day. And so these are the 2 words I'm going to tell you right now. Write them down, screw them into your brain, you know. And those 2 words are dream bigger. I had to raise my voice because I want to cut through all the yes buts. Dream bigger. Now, how do you dream bigger, right? There's a lot of different ways to come at it, but I got to tell you, so many people, first of all, do not think much of themselves, and so they don't think it's even possible to go any further forward. But I must tell you, that's the point of the whole thing. You've got to have a dream, and then get people around you to know that dream, reinforce that dream, try to help you move that dream forward, and so on. It's really quite an exciting process, and very, very exciting. There are a lot of projects going on in Nebraska and in Omaha in particular. If you ask them, they're talking about real estate and this and that, you know, but when you say, what's the vision? Huh? What are we trying to really do here? I'm not talking about one building or one lot. I'm saying, what are we trying to turn this thing into? And what emotion are we trying to evoke from the people that drive past the area? And it's a sad thing for me to say, but 9 out of 10 times they don't have a vision. They can't describe what it is we're actually trying to do and the emotion that it supposedly will evoke. Unbelievable. All right, now I'm going to really change the groove right now as we wrap up our show here in WowBiz, Nebraska. This is kind of exciting. You can see right here. This is it's kind of in the back of New York Times. It has a style section. Here we have a very stylish gal. Now, I want to just point out a couple of things here. You can see that she has a blouse or a little skirt on, a little dress on, I guess. And the background that she's standing in front of has exactly the same print, exactly the same motif, the flowers and so on, the same colors. Identify, in fact, in a way, all right, I think they're trying to convince us that she's just like fading into the backdrop, right? That's what I'm seeing. That's what I think they want us to see. Now that's kind of cool. And then of course her face, she's African American, she's got a dark skin, and that really pops out, doesn't it? It's the one thing in the whole layout, besides her arms here, I guess a little bit, but that's really prominent. So what's very interesting about this is number one, I'm going to come over here. Companies need to, I don't want to say fade, that's the wrong word, but they want to emerge into the trends that are defining the culture that their customer lives in. This is what we don't do. We don't know how to do this, but we have a lot of things going on in not just Nebraska, but the entire world. Fear, by the way, 35% of all people in the entire world are so frightened, they said we are doomed. We are doomed. 35% of all the people that are alive today in the world say that. Fear is all around us because of AI, by the way, and then, of course, international wars and so on. But the bottom line is we have to be sensitive to what is really going on around us, how it's impacting your customer, not just everybody, but your customer. And then you want to be relevant to that. That's why that's what this print is. It fits right into the backdrop beautifully. It's a really nice symbol of this principle that I'm trying to explain. A lot of people in Nebraska don't want that, see? They don't want to fade into the trends. They don't want to be part of the background. They don't like what they see. Your company has to be relevant in order to attract good workers as well as customers. Now then, we see her face here, of course, and the key there is point of difference, differentiation. Something has to jump out, something. What's unique about your company, sir? I don't know. We don't have anything really unique. It's a good product, but bam. No, that's wrong answer. She's got something popping out right here in the midst of all this glorious floral pastels. We see her face completely unique. That is an incredible image, but it makes a great point. We have to be connected and relevant to what is going on in our culture. And we also have to have something that clearly stands out. And people say, oh yeah, those guys, they do this, man. I really am aware. That's an incredible thing that they do that one thing. Now, finally, I think we just have a few more minutes here. I'm going to share with you, we're involved in a project on North and South Omaha. Some of you know that. And we get the opportunity to speak to people in North and South Omaha, have meetings and focus groups and discussions and so on. And one of the things that has emerged, it comes in this book right here called Abundant Community. One of the things that has emerged that I just love, it's really a game changer. This is the big picture now at the end of this show. The idea is that we are no longer, as a culture, this applies for Omaha, Nebraska, and all around the country and so on. We're not neighborly. Bottom line, we are not neighborly. Nobody goes out and hangs out with anybody down the street anymore. We all are staying inside. We get DoorDash to bring us our food. We don't go to restaurants anymore. I'm overstating and generalizing, but you get what I'm saying. Loneliness is one of the single most terrible things that people die because of loneliness. It's incredible, but we're just not connecting with other human beings. For a variety of reasons, we're frightened because of politics or whatever it is that we're doing, and of course we've got the internet. We don't have to leave, see? But this is something that is so important. And so what people think of you, right, is how much money do you have and what can you afford to buy? Now, I'm a marketing guy, and so I'm a little bit ashamed and embarrassed because our whole lives are built around what we can afford to display and buy and purchase and so on. Well, that's consumers. We're consumers. At every turn, we're nobody but a consumer. We used to be citizens. That was the word. And you'd go across the yard and kids would play baseball from the neighborhood together and hang out, and people would chat, and some people would come over and say, hey, can I help you with your yard or help you lift that thing? Whatever it is. I grew up on the farm over in central Iowa. I'm sure some of you know that. And when my father, we had a big farm. It was very nice. We had a number of buildings, but occasionally we'd need to re-roof the barn or the corn crib, either one. And we get kind of started on that and pass the word around at church, by the way. And pretty soon people from the section, people from the general area, way out there now, we're talking way out in the country, and knock on our door and say, hey Les, if you need any help putting up that barn there, let me know. I'll be happy to, help you guys get it done quick. This happened again and again. Nobody was asking anybody to help them, and yet the whole area was more than happy to take a day, half a day, couple days to do exactly that. We don't do that here in the urban America anymore. It's very rare. So if somebody said, gee, what are we doing with our lives? What are we doing with our little neighborhood over here? What should we be doing with ourselves? The answer is obvious, right? Recreate a neighborhood, right? And force people to get together and talk and share ideas and questions. And how do you guys do that? We don't know how to do that, whatever. And again, these people come together and they go to bed at night and they feel like, I'm a human being. I'm doing what I should be doing here. It's not just about buying, selling, all that. I don't need to do all that. That doesn't need to be my primary consideration in my life. It exists, but it should be a sidebar. We're only here for a short time. We want to come together. We want to make sure that we give something to the people just over there. Hey, how you doing? Come on over. This is how it goes. This is how it goes going into the future. Keep this in mind. And it's being brought to you by WowBiz Nebraska. I'm Lynn Hinderaker. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we really appreciate your input and everything you have to say after our show is over. We'll see you soon. Again, I'm Lynn Hinderaker. We will talk to you very soon. Can't wait. Bye-bye.